Rear loaders were designed for speed of operation, safety, and ease of loading. They perform highly efficient jobs, and they're just like any other waste hauling vehicle. Well, that's not exactly true. They do require a vehicle pre-trip safety and operational inspection, just like all the other vehicles you operate. They all require cleaning of windows, mirrors, and packing blade. They all require inspecting the hydraulic systems for leaks and serviceability. Rear loaders are the same, except they have a few additional items that drivers must think about and know when operating this type of equipment. It requires skill, training, and application of safe operating procedures to be a successful, courteous, and safe rear loader operator. Since you're probably an experienced driver before you operate a rear loader, let's quickly review the pre-trip inspection process on the rear loader. Naturally, check all the fluids: the oil, water, battery, and hydraulic fluid. Make sure the brakes and the parking brake are working properly. Be sure the windows and mirrors are clean and positioned properly. Mirrors are extremely important on all waste hauler vehicles, and even more so on rear loaders. Inspect the tires for defects and make sure the correct air pressure is in the tires. Drivers have a tendency to forget to check the inside duals on trucks with dual tires, so make the effort to check all tires. When something goes wrong with tires, it's usually an inside dual. We won't go into the complete pre-trip checklist, but we want to make the point that vehicle inspection before you leave on your route will save a lot of time, headaches, and will improve your productivity and vehicle operations. Again, your experience as a driver knows that operating a vehicle, especially a large truck, must be done safely and be aware of other drivers on the road. Defensive driving is essential to be an accident-free rear loader operator. This will be a short program because many of the things you have learned apply equally to the rear loader. Rear-end loaders, or packers, are much larger than the normal vehicles which use city streets and back lanes. Therefore, extreme care must be used when operating the equipment. As with all waste hauler vehicles, never enter or drive onto private property without written consent of the owner. The nature of the rear-end loader requires that a helper work with the driver behind the truck. This places an extra responsibility upon the driver to watch for and know the exact position of the helper whenever the truck is moved. The truck should be backed as few times as possible and only with the aid of the helper. This requires the driver to stop the truck near a pickup and just to the front of it. This gives the helper an advantage when loading trash. Never allow the helper to ride on the rear step of the truck when you are backing. The helper must be off the truck and in your vision before backing. Okay, let's load the truck. You stop the truck near the pickup site with the hopper just in front of the refuse. The hopper should be loaded evenly from side to side to create a dense load. Bundled newspapers can jam the sides and bottom of the blade, and therefore should be placed in the center of the hopper. After dumping trash cans, replace the lids and place them in approximately the same position you found them. Don't leave any trash lying around, as this can be hazardous to our customers, the general public, and certainly children that may play near the trash site. If you find an improper trash can site or improper placement of the containers to be dumped, notify the dispatcher so it can be corrected. Don't pick up batteries, pool chemicals, or other hazardous materials. Be sure to notify the dispatcher so the customer can be told why the trash was not picked up. Don't overfill the hopper, as the blade may push refuse out of the hopper on the back cycle. Never put your hands in the hopper, whether the hopper is cycling or not. Never dump trash into the hopper when it's in the downstroke cycle. Always move to the side of the hopper when the hopper is cycling. Let's watch a cycle in operation and see if it's done properly. Absolutely not. The helpers were standing near the hopper during cycling. One of the plastic bags burst during compaction and could have caused an injury. Stand away during cycling. If refuse falls under the truck, always wait until the truck is moved to pick it up. Naturally, when picking up anything, be sure to lift safely, as bending your back like this is unsafe and can cause a back injury. You have to think about your back every time you lift anything, and bending over like this is murder on your back. Protect your hands from cuts, scrapes, and minor injuries by wearing gloves. Watch where you walk to prevent slips and falls, especially during rain or snow conditions. Slips and falls are usually quite serious when they occur. Here are some other tips you need to prevent accidents. Don't drive on the left side of the street to pick up trash. Just because you're a waste hauler, you're not permitted to break the law. Helpers are to avoid walking across the street as much as possible, but if they must, watch for other vehicles. Helpers should always assist the driver when backing or maneuvering in tight spaces. However, the helper is never allowed to take an unsafe position, such as between the truck and a building or wall. The maximum speed of a rear-load truck should never exceed 20 miles per hour when helpers are riding on the rear step. In some cases, 20 miles per hour may be too fast for the conditions of the road. In all cases, use common sense when helpers are riding on the rear steps. Helpers should ride in the cab when the truck is traveling 2 blocks or more between stops. Follow your company's policies. Here are a few more tips on packing a load. As the truck fills up from the 3/4 loaded mark, it becomes advisable to cycle more often with a less full hopper. This will create a more densely packed load. Keep in mind, however, that cycling more often may mean more maintenance is required. Use your good judgment and experience in the amount of times you cycle a load. Never backpack a rear-end loader. Backpacking is using the ejector blade of the truck to pack the garbage from the front to the back. When you backpack a rear-end loader, it creates undue pressure on the top of the tailgate mounting brackets. Backpacking causes severe damage to the packer and should not be done. Last but not least, and perhaps the most important part of safety, is you. Having the proper attitude about accident prevention, taking care of the vehicle and equipment, and if you have a helper on board, think about his safety. A helper can assist you in preventing backing accidents, but the driver is responsible for safety. You're the professional, and it's up to you to operate your vehicle and equipment according to the company policies and procedures and use your knowledge, experience, and good judgment to prevent accidents. If you have the right attitude about safety, you can't lose.